Hi everyone! Today we're going to talk about how to set up and write your first Precis on our bullying article from last week. The first thing you need to do is log into Google Classroom and open the assignment that way, or you can use the Google Docs. So in order to do that, we're going to click on the Rubik's Cube and go down to Google Docs. We're then going to open a new Google Doc by clicking this plus blank sign. The very first thing you need to do is make sure your document is titled correctly. So you're going to come up here and click Untitled Document, then put your last name, not my last name, but your last name, then a space, then you're going to put Bullying Precis. Remember that Precis ends with an S, even though you can't hear the S. The first thing we're going to do when we write on our paper is insert the page number. So we're going to come up here to Insert, go down to header and page number, then over here to page number. We want the first option. So that will put a 1 on your paper. Then use your arrow key or your cursor to go ahead and put the cursor in front of the 1. Then you're going to put your last name, not my last name, but your last name right here. Okay, so if I'm going to be a student for a moment and my last name is Smith, I'm going to put Smith and then a space and the 1. When you're done with that, go ahead and click or double click down towards the middle and the bottom a little bit lower. Then we're going to make sure we're in Times New Roman and we have size 12. That's very important. The next thing you're going to do is write your name at the top left-hand corner. So you're going to put your name. So let's pretend my name is John Smith. So you write your name. Then you hit return 1 time. Then you're going to write your teacher's name. So I'm going to write Miss Connolly and hit return 1 time. Then you're going to say what class you're in. So we're going to say English 1/2 because this is first semester, and we're going to hit space. When you do that, it will turn into a half sign. That's okay. You can leave it like that. Then you're going to tell me what period you're in. Period 4 or period 2 or period 7, it doesn't matter, but what is your period? Then you're going to tell me the date, but the date is done in a special way. We're going to start with the day of the month. It's the 4th. Then we're going to put the month, September, and then we're going to put the year, 2018. There are no commas or any other punctuation. Okay, then you're going to hit return 1 time. Then you're going to hit it again. Once you've hit it twice, you're going to come up here and hit center align. Then you're going to create a title for your Precis. I'm going to title mine Bullying Leads to Mental Health Issues. You need to figure out your own title and use your own ideas. Okay, once you've done that, you're going to hit return once, and we're going to come back up here to the alignment and click left align. Once you do that, you're going to hit tab 1 time. When you've completed those steps, you're going to highlight everything below the title and below. Then you're going to come up here to line spacing and click double to make sure that everything is double spaced from now on. This stuff up here stays single spaced because if we double spaced it, it would take up half the page. So once we're at this point, now we're going to start writing our Precis. So follow along on your worksheet, and I will give you an example of one that I've written before for a speech that I heard by Emma Watson. So in sentence number 1, we need to say who and what. So the author of my speech was Emma Watson. So I'm writing Emma Watson in the, and then I'm going to pick a word from box A. Hers was a speech. Yours is not a speech. So you need to identify what kind of work is what we read in the bullying article and fill in the appropriate word. And then I'm going to put my comma and my title. This was not a book, which means it needs to go in quotation marks. Her speech was called If Not Now, When. So I put that in quotation marks. Then I need the year in parentheses. This was done in 2016, so I'm going to put that in parentheses. Okay, next is my B letter. So I'm going to go to box B, and I'm going to put argues, asserts, suggests, claims, questions, or explains. I'm going to put argues. So it now says Emma Watson in the speech, If Not Now Then When, 2016, argues that, and now I need to say what she's arguing. So now I'm going to write what is the main claim or the main argument of this speech. For you, it will be of this work. That is the bullying article. Okay, so I'm going to put that women should be treated equally to men and that they deserve the same rights. This was the main claim of her speech, so that's what I put after that. Okay, the second sentence now is what we're moving on to. So after I say Emma Watson in the first sentence, I never ever again say the word Emma. I just put Watson. So that's her last name. Supports, and then it's a female, so I'm going to put her. And then I go back to my B column, and because I used argues right here, I now have to put argument in this spot right here. Okay? If you used asserts up here, you have to put assertion right here. If you use claim, you put claim. If you put questions, you put question. If you used suggests, you put suggestion. And if you use explains, you're putting explanation. Okay? Then I'm going to put by, and I'm going to choose a word from C. Now I need to think of 3 different types of evidence used in my work. For Emma, it was that she quoted statistics, she talked about experts in the field and what they said, and she gave personal examples. In your article, you need to look for similar types of evidence or different kinds of ways that she proves her point. So I'm going to put a word from the C box in this spot that helps lead into my 3 types of evidence. So I'm going to put by demonstrating, and then you need to put what she's demonstrating. So demonstrating that women and men are not treated equally with, and now's where you put your evidence. So you need 3 types. I'm going to say from the speech I saw with statistics, expert advice, and personal examples. Your evidence will be different because you were not watching the speech I was watching. You need to go into the article on bullying and figure out what kinds of evidence does our author use. Okay? So once you've completed that, you've completed sentence 2. Now we're moving on to sentence 3. The author's purpose. So we're thinking about why is this author writing this? The author's purpose is to, and we need to go to D, but you need a word from D box and a that statement. So for example, the author's purpose is to point out that. Now I have to think about what was she trying to tell us? That women are treated unfairly. And now I get to pick either in order to or so that. In order to, and now I need to say, why would she point out that women are treated unfairly? If my main argument is that women and men deserve the same rights, I'm going to say, in order to make people take action for equal rights. So this is like in Soapstone when we talked about what does the author want you to say, feel, or do different. Okay? Then we're going to sentence 4. So we've finished sentence 3. This is the last one. We're going to put the author writes. I'm going to change mine to says because it was a speech. You're going to put writes right there. I'm actually going to change it to speaks. And then you're going to go in the box for E, and you're going to say, how are they speaking? Are they being very formal and writing for an academic community or their teacher or their boss? Or are they writing in informal language for their best friend or for a group of people their own age? Then you're going to say, are they being sarcastic, meaning are they making fun of something? Are they being humorous, meaning they're making a joke? Or are they being contemptuous, meaning are they angry? I'm going to put formal tone because she was speaking to important people at the UN and to the TV audience. 4, and now I need to make 2 specific groups of people that were watching this speech. You're going to talk about 2 specific people, groups of people who were reading the bullying article. So I'm going to put 4 United States politicians, because that's who was listening to her, and the general public. You are going to write 2 groups of people who were reading the bullying article. Okay, now I have completed my Precis. All that's left to do is go back to Google Classroom and turn it in by attaching it to my assignment. If you have any questions, please email me or message me, and I will try to help you as quickly as possible. Have a great night. Remember that this is due before 8 a.m. tomorrow on September 5th, 2018.